Hi everyone, hello. Right, it's Sunday. It is actually Sunday. Sometimes I block film, but today I thought I'm just going to do this off the cuff because I really want to update you on life, but mainly on the house because we are that close to exchange. Now, what I will say, if in this video, I'm not going to go into like the granular detail of everything, but if you're watching this and you're curious to know more, then check out my Patreon, because my Patreon is where I talk about more personal things that it's not that I've got a problem with them being out there, otherwise I wouldn't talk about them on Patreon, but I don't want them out there on the public internet. Like, my Patreon is like a subscription thing, and I just feel like it gives me like a little bit more protection. So if you want to know more about how much all of this is going to cost us, because it's eye-watering, then go and check out over there. I will say at the time of this video, that video about the costs and unpacking all of this a lot more is not going to be live. That will be live in early April, because I do 2 videos a month over there. So I'll link to my Patreon below. Okay, so what we're talking about today, we're talking about the house. I need to update you on where we are in the process. I want to update you on the work that needs doing to it, because I don't think, on Patreon I've spoken a lot more about what needs to happen with it. And again, if you want to know more, go over there, because that's where I want to talk about stuff. For reasons I'll talk about over there. But yeah, let's just go through it. Okay, so the house is a probate house. And what that essentially means is that the people that owned it have passed away. And probate is, you probably know, it's like the legal process you go through when someone has passed and the family or the executor of the will, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not a legal person, but it's when they go through the process of working out the assets of the persons that have died, and then splitting them according to the people that have been left in the will that things have been left to. Now, probate can take like a year, sometimes more. Now, I've had someone in my family for whom we had probate. It was my grandmother, or was it my grandfather? I can't remember, but I remember probate taking like at least 12 months. And so when we put in our offer on the house back at the end of January, and we were told, oh, and by the way, yeah, they've accepted your offer, but it's probate, we were just like, okay, we've got the luxury of being able to wait. But at the same time, you don't want to wait forever, do you? Because you want to get in there, you know, you're excited. But also it's having that compassion for the family, because I remember how upsetting probate was to go through. Probate, I feel, if you've been through it, you'll probably feel the same. But it takes it doesn't consider the person who's passed as your loved one. They're just seen as like an asset. All the legal people see it as is, what did they have and who's getting what. It doesn't feel like there's any great compassion for the person that you've lost in your life. And that can make it feel really tough as well. And that's just how it goes, you know, like legal people talking to each other aren't going to be like, oh, John Doe was such a nice man, because they haven't got time for that. They're just like, what did John Doe have and who's getting what and who's paying what taxes on that. So it can be really hard. And we were really conscious of the family selling the house as well, because I know what that's like, you know, I know what that's like. Anyway, so it was going through this probate situation, and that was due to take a while, but then it came through, and it's come through really quite quickly, which is fab. And it has come through amazingly quickly, actually. There are some things with the house that needs doing, like our surveyor said you probably want to have the whole thing rewired because it's quite dated in there. There are a few issues that need money chucked at them. But it's an old house, so we knew that was always going to be the case. I think on the surface, when we first went and looked around, it looked like everything was fine. But then it's only when you do like your proper deep dive survey that someone goes through and finds all of the things that need attention. So, okay, last week, we were talking to everyone involved, all the parties involved, and we are hoping to complete by the end of April, early May. Now, obviously, we've got Easter holidays, so a lot of people are taking the first 2 weeks of Easter, or at least the first 1 week of Easter off that week, you know what I mean, next week. But some people are taking the full 2 weeks off. So I think if Easter wasn't happening right now, things would be quicker again by 2 weeks. But that's fine, you know. So we went to a flooring place, and I'm going to put some clips in here because I like videoed a little bit of it. So we go to this flooring, carpeting, wooden floor specialist kind of place. And we got talking to them, and they were really nice. And we know what we want to do. So when you walk into the house, we want to do like herringbone parquet type flooring, which looks like this. And we're not sure what colour we want to go with. I think I want to go with greige on the walls because I want to do really bright coloured canvases. And I don't want any background colour in the walls that's going to clash too much with the colour in the canvases. So I don't want to go white. That's way too bleak for me. But I also don't want to do grey. Like, I'm done with grey. And I feel like grey is like, everyone's moving on from grey, aren't they? But I feel like a creamy kind of colour could work quite nicely with some nice panelling. And then the canvases on top of that. I'm going to talk about canvases in a minute, actually, because I spoke about canvases and artwork a couple of videos ago, and I had so many people like coming for me on it. I was like, guys, it's literally just a picture for a wall. But we're going to talk about that as well. So anyway, we go and see this place, and he's showing us all the carpets and like the flooring. We decided on what we're going to have. So we're going to have herringbone flooring as you enter the house. And the house is like low-key open plan. So we're going to have that flooring from the entranceway moving through into the dining room, moving through into the sitting room. So it makes it feel like less broken up, and it makes it feel like a bigger space. We're not going to do the kitchen because the kitchen's been done and it's got like a really nice flooring in it. So we're going to leave that. But yeah, we're going to do that sort of like entranceway. Then up the stairs, we are going to do the whole like runner thing. The only thing is we don't know what the stairs are like under the carpet that's there at the moment. If they are nice stairs, then we can do the runner. If they are not very nice stairs and they need work doing, which we're not going to bother doing, then we're going to do a mock runner, which looks like this, which is basically where you get a runner, but you run it up to the sides. You don't just have it in that middle portion with the wooden floorboard showing either side. So we don't know what we're going to do with that until we've taken up the carpets. And then upstairs throughout, we're just going to do carpets. We were going to match the wooden floor in the hallways and landing area to match downstairs. But I said to David, I want upstairs to be a bit more cozy. And although the wooden floor we've chosen, although it's not solid wood for a reason I'll come on to, but they said that this is like a new flooring. I forget what it's called. But this new flooring is warm underfoot. It's not like you've got underfloor heating, but it's not cold. And you can mop it, like not with like a solid bucket of water, but you know, you can clean it and it doesn't lift, it doesn't warp, you know, all of that kind of thing, which is great. So we've decided on that, and then upstairs we decided on the colour as well, and we want to go for a neutral. One of the rooms is painted sage green, and it's just been redecorated, and we like that colour. So all we're going to do is we're going to refresh and repaint the doors, the skirting boards, and then all the other rooms need doing. Like one of the rooms, the main bedroom, there's a hole in the roof, and the water's leaked through, so the ceiling has gone like patchy and tea stained coloured on the white ceiling, and there's like a slight crack through the wall. All that needs repairing. We're going to do all of the decorating ourselves. And the reason is, first of all, we want to. But secondly, this place is going to cost us an absolute arm and a leg to get livable. And if we can save a bit of money by doing the decorating ourselves, which I think will be fun, like we both like decorating, I think it will be fun, then that's something we're going to do. So the flooring, I'll tell you how much you can guess how much that is, but the flooring, I'm going to talk about how much that is on Patreon, okay? We're going to talk about that over there. Artwork for the walls, you know how I was saying, I'm going to put some images in here of like the kind of thing we're thinking of. It's not that I'm necessarily going to buy these. It's just this is like the vibe that we want to go with. So like bright colours, textures, etc. I spoke in a video I did a couple of weeks ago about how we're going to decorate the place. And I said I wanted to get like these. And I really rate Etsy, right? Etsy can be a great place to get canvases because there's a lot of very creative people on there. And you can either find on there like prints onto a canvas, or you can find on there originals, like where people actually paint onto a canvas and what you get sent is somebody's actual artwork. And I was mind blown because I had so many people being horrible about that. And some people were just like, no, I wouldn't buy off Etsy. Some people were actually really nasty. And I was like, it's just a picture for a wall. Like, does it matter? It's not like it's your wall. It's my wall. Does it matter? What I've already done so far is I found some really nice, they're actually posters, but I found some posters printed on quite a thick card. They haven't turned up yet. I hope they look nice, but they are like a sort of pop art themed, but they're all Italy. So they're kind of like, there's one of Venice, there's one of Florence, there's like a really old Campari advert, which looks cool. And we're going to have that in the kitchen. So to add some colour in the kitchen and to make it like as I say, like colourful. We want the walls to be neutral. We want the art to like really sing through. We did actually go into an art shop that's local to the house about 3 weeks ago. And the stuff in there was really weird, like not cool weird. It was like tubes of sweets, like painted with a stick man holding it. And I was like, this is really weird. I'd rather go on Etsy right now. So that's what we're going to do there. And they're the pictures that I've bought for the kitchen. As soon as they arrive, I will show you them because you can buy them off this particular website and they're selling out really fast. There was an Aperol one I really wanted and they were like, that's long gone. So I'll come on here and show you that soon. The roof needs work, the electrics, as I've said. There is a water tank in the house that has been recommended we change as well, so that's going to be more money. I am going to do a walk-in wardrobe, as I've spoken about before. That's going to be more money. The place needs blinds or shutters. We might do blinds to start because this place we've got like a spreadsheet of how much everything's costing, and we've got blinds, well, we've got a mixture at the moment of blinds and shutters. And the blinds cost a lot less, but you still get the look of a shutter. And we're going to do shutters on the doors, like out into the garden and stuff like that, because obviously like a blind against a door is going to be really annoying. But on the windows that aren't going to be opened so much, we are going to do blinds, like wooden white blinds, and you can get some really nice ones. And again, we found a shop that's local to the house. I need to go in there, but I can't go in there until we've got access to the house because they're going to have to measure up to get to quote us, and that's going to be a good several £1,000s easily just for blinds. I've looked at shutters and we've had a rough quote already of £15,000 for shutters, and that's like a partial bathroom, you know, 15k. So we're going to do the blinds first, and then like maybe as a part two, if it requires it, we might do shutters in the future. But that's what we're going to do, and I'll film that. And again, we're going to do the wooden blinds, which look like shutters, not like the plastic or the metal ones. They can look quite cool actually. Door handles, I've already bought them. The house has got door handles, but they are corroded. Some of them, like they're gold tone, but the gold's rubbed off. They just look really old and scratched up. But also, I've always wanted this style of door handle, and I found a place that sells them. And so the first quote I got was £700 for door handles for the place, and I managed to get them for £218 for the whole house. Although I don't think I've bought enough. I think I need to buy 2 more sets, but they look really cool. They've actually turned up. I'm really excited about those. And we're gonna, when we get into the property, the plan is to get into the property, get the flooring company in to take up the carpets so that we can paint. We have 1 week to paint, no more. Then when it's all dry, the flooring company come back the week after, fit the flooring, then we move in. That's what we're going to do. So, and again, if you want more information on this, Patreon is your place. And then the garage needs work. Like so much of it needs work. It's going to get real expensive really quick. And the garden is frightening. It's like, you can see at one point it was very beautiful, but it's very, very overgrown now. And it doesn't look nice to look out on, and there's like quite a large tree in it, and I thought it was going to be like a blossom tree, but I actually think it's dead, because we went back to the house to have a look last week, and obviously it's spring now and everything's budding, and that tree is just like dead as a doornail. So that's going to be money to have that dug out and removed. There's actually a few trees in the garden that need to go, and one of the trees has got a preservation order on it, which means it can't be touched at all. But that's come out in the searches, but we don't know which tree that is. So we've gone back to the solicitor and we're like, which tree is that? Is it out the front of the property or out the back? And what if it starts encroaching on the house? Can we have it trimmed back, or can you not touch it at all? Or you're like, what? How does that work? I've never lived near a tree that has a preservation order. So if anyone knows anything, drop it in the comments below. So that's an update on the house. We are that close to exchange, and then we can complete further down the line, hopefully by the end of April. And then we can, you know, get in there and get to work and renovate, etc. What I am going to do, so some of you will know, I already started doing like a major wardrobe sale, and I actually started that 2025 because I was just like, I've got so much stuff that I'm not using, and I'm a bit nervous about packing everything up because there's junk everywhere. Like, you don't know, I always say this, you don't know how much toot you own until you have to box it up. I'm talking about, like, you know, like the drawer you have in the kitchen that's full of like batteries that don't work anymore, and like screws that fell out of something and you don't know what, and like takeaway menus and random keys and you don't know what door they're for anymore. Like, we've got that. We've got 2 of those drawers. Someone needs to go through that. All of the, when you move large furniture, they normally don't like to lift the large furniture with the drawers and the stuff still in it, because it just adds weight. So you have to empty out the drawers. It's just a pain. So we're going to sell a lot of furniture. Might have to get house clearance if we can't sell it in time, but there's a lot we don't want to take with us. That's going to be more money to buy new furniture, but I already have like a list of what I want to get. And what's annoying is some of the companies that I want to buy from, they've got like discounts on, but for March only. And I don't want to buy furniture until I get in there and I can truly measure up, you know. I've started buying a few bits, but like more decorative things, as opposed to like a table and a bunch of chairs, or like bar stools for the kitchen, that kind of thing. So that needs looking into. I do still have a few things for sale on Luxury Promise. There is not much left now. I will link in the description below to what is for sale. Luxury Promise have priced everything up. I did not know what to price things up for. I didn't have a clue. And that was the great thing about them, is that because they're in the business of buying and selling, they know how much things go for. So, and I think they've really priced things fairly, actually. Like, some stuff's not gone for very much at all. Like, I'm selling Balmain blazers and they're like £400 or something. And I'm like, they're brand new. And I said to Luxury Promise, are you joking? And they were like, well, you know, that's how much things go for. So there is one Balmain blazer left in a French size 38, which is a UK 10. And I would say it's a slightly larger feeling UK 10 because of the fabric. It's like a wool fabric, but that particular shape is more of a spring summer jacket, slightly lighter than your traditional woolen ones. It was like nearly 2K I paid for that, and I've worn it a handful of times. Freshly dry cleaned. It comes to you box fresh. And yeah, it's like 400 quid. So I'll post a link to that below. I'll put a picture of it in here because I think the listing on Luxury Promise, they haven't actually put a picture up. And so you know what it looks like, I'll put the picture in here. But I've got shoes, like boots for sale. What else have I got? I've got a Dior bag, and the Dior bag, I've included with it the guitar strap, and that guitar strap alone was like nearly £1,000. And that guitar strap has not been used. Because in the picture I'll put in here just to show you, I did have someone saying, oh, that guitar strap looks really old. That is what they look like when they're slightly folded. They go crinkly like that. That guitar strap has never been used. And I think a lot of people think the guitar straps, the canvas bit where it's creamy coloured there, on a lot of the fake ones, that creamy colour is pure white. And I think maybe there is some confusion that it should be pure white. That's what they look like. They're like a taupe, not taupe. They're like a creamy kind of sand colour on the neutrally bit, and then the rest is navy blue, and it matches that bag. There's a few things to sell. There's a Chanel jacket, there's a few things, there's a Fendi bag. That Fendi bag is really nice. I just haven't been using it. I kind of more switched to the Constance that's back there. So I thought, right, I'll sell that. But there may be more being sold, because as I unpack stuff and package things up, there will definitely be things that I'm like, Sophie, you haven't used that in time, sell it. So they're the things that are still for sale. As I say, I'll link to those in the description, but that's what's still for sale. And then like the final couple of things, something that's like, I need to keep an eye on really, work. As you know, I've retired, well, semi-retired. I still do consulting, but I always said I wanted to be quite strict about only doing like a few days a month. I'm slipping back into 24/7 working. And when I say 24/7, I do actually mean the weekends as well, because you take work home with you, and then the weekends is when I personally like to catch up on things, because there's nobody else at work chasing me. I can just focus on getting everything done. And I'm slipping back into working every hour, and I need to rein that back in. Like, I've already decided that I've got one job at the moment, which will probably finish just after Easter, but I've decided that for the rest of April and May, I'm not going to take on any more work. I'm going to do nothing, because we might be moving, and I don't want the stress of, oh my God, I've got work to deliver, and yet the house is full of like boxes being packed up, and I don't know where everything is, and I've got the stress of that. So I'm going to try and push back and like start turning down some work for the next couple of months. And then finally on Thursday, I'm going to that surgeon to get my Botox, which I can't wait for, because look at my forehead. It is bad. It is like an old orange. Like, my 11 lines are crazy. I don't just hate 11 lines. Like, I'm really expressionful with my forehead. And so I'm looking forward to getting that smoothed out. But yeah, it's that surgeon, the last surgeon that said, no, you can't have any surgery. It's him that I'm going back to. I'm dreading the drive, because it's going to be Easter rush hour, and he's right around the other side of the M25. He is miles away, and it's like a 2-hour drive to get there. If there's zero traffic, I could probably do it in like just a bit over an hour, but allowing for traffic, I have to leave 2 hours before. And it's no fun, but hopefully it's going to be worth it. So anyway, that's everything that's going on. Remember, if you want to know more, if you want to know how much all of this is costing, then come and check us out on Patreon. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.